There you go. All right. Thank you, everybody. Sorry about the false start there. And sorry about the echoey sound. Um, Technical stuff. Anyway, welcome to the imho.love show. I'm Lou Angel Wolf. That's Mike Merberg. And here we are on the third day of June 2020, the most surprising year ever. Welcome, everybody. Hope you're doing well, coping, understanding, taking deep breaths, and because that's one of the things we totally need to do. And like I said, I'm sorry for the echoey sound, but that's the way it goes tonight. Anyway, welcome aboard, and Mike, how you been? You been holding up?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. You got to speak up a little bit tonight because we just got the one little mic on the phone.
Yeah, I'm good.
Hey, somewhere between there and there.
Okay.
Okay. Obviously, what we're going through here every day, the looting, the rioting, the protest part is fine, man. That's part of being an American. If you got something you don't like, get it off your chest, man. You do have the freedom of speech. But
But if you're white, don't go into black neighborhoods and burn them down, okay? It really looks bad for white people.
Yeah, these hired white boys. Just the whole thing, and it almost the colors are almost smeared.
Yeah.
Over this, I don't really think it's a black or a white thing anymore. Of course, the Floyd incident was, that's what triggered all this, and I don't necessarily. See, I understand a protest if injustice is happening. Now, whether that's just the culmination point of all this stuff going wrong, have people just had it that fed up and that was the straw that broke the camel's back, I get it. And have your protest. But here's the thing. Justice is being approached. All four of these guys are up on charges.
Well, the statue of Justice she's got a sword in one hand and one foot on the ground and the other foot on a turtle, and that's been the case for forever.
Right.
So because things don't happen immediately does not mean you go to war or you do these kind of things.
Are you talking the blind justice statue?
Yeah.
Where she's blindfolded.
Yeah.
She has scales in one hand.
Right, and as I recall, if I'm not mistaken, the one outside the Louvre is exactly as I explained it. I could be wrong without the location, but I'm sure it's in Paris.
It has a sword. She has a sword in one hand.
Right, and the blindfold, and then she's got one foot on the earth.
Okay.
And then the other foot is on a turtle that's on the earth.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like the symbology there. That's cool.
Yeah, but you're right. I was just watching a video about the Beverly Hills Antifa.
Beverly Hills Antifa.
Yeah, you talk about like contradictory existences in a strange universe. It's like, wow, what matrix are we in? Where they got a Antifa in Beverly Hills, or
That was and I heard it in the background as I was trying to put this together, and they were the Beverly Hills Antifa. I don't know if it's a real video or not.
I don't know, but I'm with them because they want $15 an hour, and you can't live on $15 an hour in Beverly Hills.
That's for sure. And they were chanting George Soros, "Where's our money?" or something like that, and it just seemed all too canned and odd.
Yeah, but it'd be funny if they were asking like, George, where's our Rolex?
Yeah, right.
That'd be like more Beverly Hills.
Where's my F-150? Yeah. So that's, Mike and I we talk daily, and the scenario constantly changes here in the States, and different cities, different states, different attitudes about the whole thing. And of course, if you're online, I'll be, parroting some of the things that you've heard online or read online. But I do have a couple of unique perspectives. This is imho.love is in my humble opinion .love, and really, as we're looking through this world and the media that comes at you, you're finding a lot of opinions. There's no two ways about this. It's literally, you can almost tell what television channel people watch or what news source they go to is how freaked out they are about social distancing, or whether they're having a mask on or whether they don't. There are some people that this mind control that we're under right now is very, very strong. This is some strong juju, baby. And if you're feeling a little dazed, if you're feeling a little confused, if you're feeling a little strange, don't, because this is the way they want it. This is the way it's supposed to be. They want everybody off balance. They want everybody not thinking clearly. They want knee-jerk reactions. Believe me, you've been watched, you've been observed, there have been notes taken. They know how you're going to act. And through the various cross sections of our society, they have made, that's why we get certain things in our news feed, okay? Certain things that don't go to our news feed because we don't agree with them or they don't apply to us. But everything that's going to tickle your head or stimulate a GABA receptor or something is heading your way. It's heading your way because they already know what you want. And I don't know how many times we've talked about this, but it's just that constant. Obviously, your phone can hear you when it's not on, because you cover a topic, and the next thing you open up your phone, like I was talking about how nice looking the new GMC pickup trucks were, and I open up my phone an hour later, and all of a sudden I got ads for GMC pickup trucks. So that didn't come out of anywhere. There's something there. There's something going on with that. It's music too. I mentioned something like Buffalo Springfield the other day, and threw in my favorites. There's Buffalo Springfield.
Yeah, well, it's either that or get Buffalo Burgers or the new
Buffalo Bills tickets,
or the new Springfield Armor 45 ACP.
And folks, Mike and I do this show. It is sponsored by DisabilityAttorney.net. That's Mike's law practice. That's Social Security and Disability law practice. If you have an issue in that area, you found your guy.
Yeah, well, if you call support like making leftovers for dinner before we come on here,
well,
thank you.
Leftovers are good.
That's the cheapest bump I've ever had.
That was
thank you.
But whatever purpose it serves, and we do this out of our hearts. We're not making any money on this. We probably should kick up the production value and really turn it into something. But then again, there's different concerns about it. So, but anyway, I would like to thank. We have so many regular listeners, and the shows are getting a lot of looks, and it warms my heart to know that you take the time to look. And my mom is watching the show now. Thank you, Mama. I love you so much. We don't have to say that, but you're why I'm here, Mom. You're the deal. I know you. I'm one of the 4 people on this earth that's seen you from the inside. There you go. So, and of course, the beautiful Pamela, Kat Carroll, constantly providing us with statistics. I have a new cohort in the theories, Caroline. She's just been fantastic, great news feeds and nice stuff. Susan, thank you so much for your updates. One of my old comedy buddies, David Stebbins. He's all, I don't know where he's at exactly politically, but we definitely connected on a spiritual level, which makes me extraordinarily happy. And that means that there's a lot of people on this list. I'm going to go through a couple more, and then I'll get back to it a little later as a comma. And of course, my friend Ann, thank you so much. And everybody that prayed for my buddy Dennis with the brain operation. He's doing good. There's still a little ways to go, but there's lots of options now. They know a lot more than they did the week before. And thank you so much. And for last week, I had vehicle trouble on the way here. I drive an older Chevy truck sometimes, and the fusible link burned out, which is kind of like the main power cord got kicked out of the wall. So we got that repaired and it's rolling again, so everything's good. Well, back to the show. imho.love, in my humble opinion, .love. What we're trying to do is elevate your ideas a little higher. Because if you sit here all week long on the computer, watching the television, and you're letting all this ugliness, fear, screaming, yelling, smoke, fire, bullets, if you're letting all that in your brain, okay, which a lot of us do voluntarily anyway. You watch murder, crime stories, and all that other stuff. You're already pre-filling your head with this garbage, and it probably has lessened the demonization of what's actually going on because we're kind of null, we're kind of dimmed to that, that shock because we've seen it so many times in all of the movies and the news every night and everything online. Oh my God, and if you go to the dark web, it gets just even crazier. So you're dumbed down a little bit, and they're showing you all these horrible images, and that's why you're feeling a little tensed up. You need to protect yourself. You're doing what you're supposed to do. You're protecting yourself. But consequently, when you're in that fear mode, you're not making the best decisions. You're in survival mode. You want to get safe, okay? Well, it's best to think about things before they happen. Maybe make a plan. Maybe try to understand what you're up against. Mike, a few weeks ago we were talking about, eventually the National Guard's going to be rolling through here, and they're here.
Yeah. I've kind of analyzed that a little bit, and it's an exercise that I suggest to everyone to backtrack. And if you've ever heard of the Hegelian dialectic, it's thesis, reaction, and antithesis, and more properly put, it's problem, reaction, solution.
Problem, reaction, solution.
So if you take the troops, martial law being the solution,
okay,
you start. Let's backtrack. You start out with the problem. Oh, we're having riots. We need control.
Okay.
So we don't have more riots. Reaction. Well, let's call out the National Guard. Nobody's really disagreeing with that at this point.
Right.
And the solution is, okay, we can institute martial law now to lessen the revolution and reduce further freedom even further than we already have.
Right.
So if you continue to do that with everything that you see around you, and then you figure out what the playbook is.
Okay.
And they're playing it just like they should.
Well, it's, they've put a lot more thought into this because here's where most of our confusion comes in. You're on a 100-year plan. Thank you, Amy, for reminding me of that phrase. The 100-year plan. But here you are. You're seeing a 1-year section of a 100-year plan. So in every maneuver, there is a flex point, and we are at a flex point right now. I've been studying this stuff for almost 30 years, and I started with the knowledge about the Freemasons and their subversive activities, their ties to international banking, on and on and on. It's not conspiracy theory stuff anymore. These are actual facts, and this is how it goes. And you can call it an opinion if you like. You're welcome to it. In fact, we invite that here. And I always have a hard time with people stomping their foot about facts because a lot of facts are relative. It depends on who you're saying it to and who's saying it as to how absolutely true it is. Now, Mike's been an attorney a majority of his life. and truth is very, very flexible, wouldn't you say?
Absolute truth isn't.
Absolute truth isn't?
No, absolute truth isn't.
Okay. Truthiness, is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about absolute truth.
Absolute truth.
You know what absolute truth is when you meet up with it.
Okay.
Like Lou Angel Wolf is a good guy.
Thank you.
That's an absolute truth.
Ah.
Okay. As opposed to truth, you have truth, but then you have facts that can be manipulated.
Yes.
So, you know what truth is down at the bottom of your heart. Facts, they're always open to interpretation until the facts are proved, for me, beyond to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt.
Right.
It's a pretty high standard.
Yeah, it is.
I know it is for you too as well. I mean, preponderance is something that we talk about in the law that is more likely than not. But I think what we're actually seeing with what you're talking about is truth are facts beyond a preponderance of the evidence that leads one to an inevitable conclusion that they know what the absolute truth is. And that's your path to truth. That's what you have to do. Constantly going down the rabbit hole, constantly analyzing, never taking anything for granted, and never thinking that you know the absolute truth at any given moment, because there's something else that will come up and may change that.
Yeah.
And that's why facts are important.
It's really true. I mean, for those of you who've been watching the show for any amount of time, I subscribe and recommend the James Corbett show, the Corbett Report.
Yep.
He's a very good journalist. He throws the facts out there, and then, it's got a little of a guide to it because he is trying to make a point as well as being a journalist, but he's not off in the woods somewhere. He's not a kooky guy.
He's been sleeping with these facts for decades.
Yeah, this is his life passion, and this is all coming to fruition for him, and I couldn't be happier. But one of the things that, everybody's been talking about Bill Gates the last couple of weeks, and maybe part of this action is to get the focus off of that, because they were really running him up a pole as far as who he is, what his intentions are with the global vaccine and this and that and the other thing. And definitely, there's some questionable motives, and he's a questionable guy.
Well, I just thought, you talk about the Freemasons. Well, they've apparently linked Bill Gates to the brick company that produces the bricks.
Yeah.
Hey, the bricks are free, Freemasons. I don't know, it fits together. I don't know if any of that's true, but, it's out there.
The whole brick thing is very symbolic.
It is weird.
It's very symbolic. The Freemasons who
set the cornerstone.
Set the cornerstone, and they built a lot of things.
Yeah.
They built a lot of things. But consequently, as you study, there's a darkness about what they've done and what they're continuing to do. Because they amplify the synthetic world. Okay? They make you think that the creations out here by humans and human thought and human divination is the path that you want. Well, actually, we're kind of on the other side. So we're like in an organic faith. You have the most beautiful spirit that you came here with when you were just a little baby. You had that beam of innocence, and you were surrounded in love. And that's what we're trying to reintroduce to our audience, and what we would try to reintroduce to this situation as well. It needs to come back full circle, because we're way out on the other side of the balloon now. We are so far away from love and understanding and sympathy and empathy. We're away from that now, but it's coming back around.
I was going to mention, I was thinking that, back during the Revolutionary War, the officers, including George Washington, were known or reputed to have taken the time to meet with the officers of the English Army to meet in Freemasonry at some place away from the troops, and then go back to their troops again. So even throughout the war, the Freemasons were a cause for gathering for both sides. And then even the United States, we won the war, and we got rid of the British and the Bank of England and the taxes that they wanted to impose. But with only a few years after Washington gets elected, guess who he invites back into the country again? It's the Bank of England, the consortium of private investors who created the first national bank of the United States. So here you have these Freemasons that are meeting before the war. The fix is in. We win the war. The fix comes back in, and then we lose our banking system, only to be overturned by Congress not renewing the charter, which triggers the War of 1812 when the king and the Rothschilds banking cartel sends the troops back in to beat up America, take it back so they could reinstitute the second Bank of the United States, or the Bank of England all over again. So it's really kind of, they've been out there doing this for not only a 100-year plan, this is a 200- and 300-year plan. So it goes a lot deeper than just 100 years.
Yeah, right. And you're exactly right, Mike. And America is the prize for this global consortium. We were the symbol of everything that was good with the world. We were enterprising, we were comfortable, we had freedom of religion, we had freedom of speech, we had the right to bear arms, we had everything that a free person would want, and it lasted a really, really long time. Well, over the years, they've been putting our fences tighter and tighter and tighter. And basically, these days, with your tax situation and the way everything's going, you're a free-range slave. You really are. You're a free-range slave. And what they want to do now is they want to tighten up your pen a little closer, so you can't have the freedoms that you once had. That's the talk of all this new normal. I was thinking back the other day. I'm 60 and I graduated high school in 1978, and there was a 3-year stretch in the United States where we weren't at war. 1975, 1976, 1977, and then we started occupation again in 78. But those were like my heyday years. Those were like I was 15, 16, 17 years old, and literally I even knew back then that those were the good days. We literally, we did everything that we wanted to do. Yeah, there were parameters, and of course there were, punishments for going too far outside the line. But I'll just, classic example. Right now, if you get caught, say you're a big guy, say you're like me or something, or Mike. You're over 6 foot, you're a few hundred pounds, couple hundred pounds, however big you are, and you go out and you have 4 beers over a couple hours, okay? Chances are you're fine. But if you get pulled over and they make you do a blood test or a blow test or whatever, you're probably going to blow.
And if the cop asks you to blow, refuse. That's your... Don't do it.
Don't blow it?
No, don't blow the cop. You can take the breath but
Well,
if you really,
what if it means you won't get a ticket?
If you really know you're drunk, you've refused the breathalyzer test. That's pretty good advice. If you're marginal, take the test. All right. Question.
It
could be lower than you think.
And in that scenario, I'm just going to ask you off the record, or just an opinion.
Yeah.
Say I go out and I have 4 beers, and I get yanked at, I've been out for 2 hours. I left some steakhouse or someplace.
Yeah.
And I do get pulled over, and the cop either smells beer on my breath or whatever. If I refuse the breathalyzer test, what are the ramifications of that?
Well, they pull your license. It's been years since I practiced this stuff, but say goodbye to your license and
For how long?
Oh, I don't remember.
6 months, a year?
But you're better off, if you're worrying about getting your license back, you're better off taking the breathalyzer. At least we're talking in Florida. But once again, the other thing is you can kind of calculate it yourself. If they're going to take you down to the station, you got a half an hour, lead time.
Right.
One beer every hour is pretty okay for somebody who's 145 pounds.
Okay.
Two for somebody who's 280 or 300 pounds. You shouldn't have a problem with that.
Okay.
It all depends on your body mass, body weight, and then you start throwing in the metabolisms for young people versus old people, and for middle age, which middle-aged metabolisms go all over the place, so it's not a steady metabolic rate for metabolizing alcohol. So and the machines are accurate; they have to be checked and tested. So. If it were I would take the test.
Take it.
Yeah, and then the other thing is I don't drink and drive at all. Period.
Right. Well, I don't either.
That's the easiest way to.
But I was just I've always been curious as to. So if you refuse the test, you automatically lose your license for, I think it's a year.
Yeah, and then if you take the test, I think you get it back after 6 months or whatever you get.
But you also have a DUI on your record, which changes your whole life.
Yeah, the thing is with the refusal. They plead you out to a reckless the first time through. A lot of jurisdictions do, and if you take the breath test and you're over the legal limit, you're screwed. You got a DUI on your record.
Right.
So that's why it's so iffy. It's so iffy.
Yeah, it's so worth a cab ride or a Uber or if you're from Brooksville, a Goober, whatever. But anyway,
we love you, Brooksville.
Yeah, we love. Yeah, I do. It's nice up there. Anyway. But here's the thing, that's today. You get a DUI now, in these times, you're looking at a minimum of $10,000.
Yeah.
Okay? You're looking at all kinds of court dates, and forever, you're going to have higher insurance rates, you're a greater risk.
When I grew up, people used to get smashed and they drive over the curbs and their cars were there.
Yeah.
The cops used to come over and say, "Hey, lock your car up. I'll drive you home."
Yep. Yep.
I mean, and that was 50 years ago.
Sure.
We have changed from that to a society where the funding that the police get is dependent on the number of arrests they make, and then the same thing with prosecution. The funding they get is dependent on the number of cases that are prosecuted and made. So,
yeah, the quota system.
Yeah, it is, and it's just sad because we've gone to a very competitive fascist society.
Yeah, well, keeping the peace, they were peace officers. They were keeping the peace. But now it's so different. And I remember we got pulled over one time in high school. I think it was 1977. We had a case of beer in the trunk on ice, and we got pulled over, and the driver had a beer between his legs. Each of us had an open beer in the car, and the cop was a Dunedin cop. He was a cool guy. I can't remember his name. He made us pour our open beers out, and then made us pour all of our ice cold beers out.
Oh.
Okay? And we were grumbling.
The bastard.
That was like $8 back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, a 6-pack of Bud was $2.99 or something, you know?
Yeah.
So, but you see, that was keeping the peace. And now what you have is it's not keeping the peace. It's creating a sect of an industry, of the law industry. Because now you need an attorney, and now you need the courtroom, and there's charges for all these things all along the way. Now, if you're driving drunk, you should go to jail. You should have your driver's license taken away from you. But within reason, I mean, and that's what it is we've blurred these lines to a point where they needed to be defined, and now they're redefined and they're harsh. And that's what you're going through right now with all of this protesting / looting / rioting. And the part of this that really bothers me the most is the bricks in place, the fact that it's an orchestrated event, the fact that the Walmarts are closing at 5 o'clock because they might know something you don't. You know, the only store that was open during the Corona shutdown, that store. So all those indicators, it really, the upper echelon of this game is higher than we can see, and there's such a division between the politicians, and you can almost tell there's divisions between the people as to the politicians that they listen to. Mike and I, we try to be as neutral as we can. They're all rats, every one of them. Every one of them. There ain't a good one in the bunch, okay? But the people that we try to identify with are the people that, well, they have our best interest at heart. And to be honest with you, that's who you're going to like. That's who you like. The people that have your best interest at heart. So, all that being said, everything out there is a freaking train wreck, man. It's all dangerous. It's all, be very, very careful. Don't take anything for granted. Be watchful, okay? Be smart, okay? But all this is happening to teach us all a great lesson, a big lesson, okay? No matter what goes on in the outside world, you're still you on the inside. And that's who you have to fortify. That's who you have to protect, is that inner person of you, that love that is within you, that love that beams through your being, and that lets the whole world know that you're special and that you're there. Don't be afraid, although there's plenty of reasons to be, but don't. Do some meditations. Keep breathing. Watch what you're eating right now. I know, you know, a lot of people tend to nervous eat, binge eat. Sugar, if you're taking in too much sugar right now, this is going to be worse for you, okay? If you're smoking cigarettes, if you're smoking too many cigarettes right now, this is going to be worse for you. Just drink some nice clean water. Get as much sleep as you can. And you can get your limited dose of this stuff literally with an hour and a half of television, news, internet access. Go to your favorite news channels.
And then turn your TV off.
And then turn it off. That's exactly right. You took my next line. And then turn that bitch off. Because they're on the hottest news cycle they've ever been on. And they're still fighting for timeshare on viewership. There's still, and there's still Toyotas for sale. Well, I thank everybody that's been listening. Shelly, good to be back in touch with you. Our buddy Derek out in California, had a nice conversation with Derek. He's out there taking care of his mom and dad. What a good dude. Fran, always good to see you, Franny Bell. Laura, my friend Phyllis, Mary, thank you so much for the input every day. I appreciate your guidance on the stuff that you present. And Jeff, of course, and I know there was a lot of other people. The Debbies, I got some Debbies. Thank you, Debbies. And thank you so much for listening and tuning in. I will get the sound fixed. I didn't bring the right chord tonight.
Yeah,
so,
it was a B major. And you muffed it with the G.
Yeah, every good boy deserves favor, except tonight. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to the imho.love show. I'm Lou Angel Wolf. That's Mike Merberg. We're here every Wednesday night, 7:30 usually. We did miss a couple throughout the year, but we got 300 hours of stuff out there, Mike. You know, we got a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so
it's a great body of work.
You can go to imho.love. You can go to lutopia.com. All this stuff is shared on my YouTube channel. This will be shared on Facebook, Facebook Live, YouTube, BitChute. I love the BitChute. BitChute, they won't take your stuff down regardless of what you say. It's a different platform, and there's some stuff on BitChute you don't want to see. But you know, if you want something, if you want a nice permanent home for your stuff, in fact, James Corbett turned me on to that, and Mike. We got another week coming up. This is a Wednesday, so what do you think? What should we be watching out for?
Rabid, screaming, flying, armed monkeys.
Yes, the monkeys are next.
The monkeys are next, and then after that, we might be seeing alien invasion. It all depends.
You know, that's the big caveat. It's the alien thing.
Yeah.
And I think we're on the same page with this. When you first see the aliens, these are the fake ones.
Right.
The first one's an imposter. The second one, the second alien thing that comes back is the real deal.
Yeah, we need them.
Yes,
we really do.
Yeah, I mean, we do need divine intervention.
We do. You know,
we need divine intervention.
They're out there, and I think if we all pray for it, if we all do our meditation and do the CE5s, then they will come.
You can change the energy of the world. We have proven that time and time again. And I'm not even talking about the Schumann resonance, but that's part of it too. So together, collectively, cooler heads will prevail. You have your thoughts about you, have your ideas about you, say your prayers. Thank you so much. Let's just be nice to each other, man. You know what? Because we're not as divided as they want us to think we are. But these guys aren't playing by fair rules. They want control. They want money. They want your ass. They want your ass.
They want everything.
And you know what? I'm going to keep my ass till the last breath. It ain't the best ass in the world, but it's the only one I got. So, like we say on the show all the time, folks, use your head, trust your gut, and your heart will prove you true. Thank you so much. We'll be back next week, 7:30. Please like it, share it, subscribe, whatever you want to do. Send it to friends. Take pictures of us, put little monkey faces on us. Whatever you want to do, you're welcome to it. Thank you, and shalom, amigos.
Yeah, and
my buddy Tom Rhodes says that.
Yeah, you can get up and march around, but stop it.
Stand up and march around.
Stop it. Peace, y'all.
Thank you. Well, there we go. And thank you so much, everybody. We're going to finish this here.